This storm will kill you.
Look! I'm telling you! You know what I mean,
But
folks?
if rich people aren't looking out for us, who is?
It makes no difference which one of us you vote for. Either way, your planet is doomed.
You're listening to the Our Take Podcast with Bryan Sherman.
He had a full head, all the way till the end. It was white, and I was hoping to get that. I was hoping to get like the full head, and it was really hard to cut it off.
And Spencer Rogers.
To be a good pilot, you have to be able to make good decisions. And I know what my credit score is, so I know I don't make good decisions.
This is the Our Take Podcast.
From Scary Parrot Media Studios in Ogden, Utah, it's the Our Take Podcast, episode 93. I'm Bryan.
I'm Spencer.
That is a beautiful intro. I haven't heard yet.
I know. I've surprised you with it today.
Yeah, I love it.
I felt like we needed something a little more lively for 2020 since we're all, and
It's more than halfway over.
me and you don't listen to that much hip hop, which was our other one, and so
That's
it
true.
just felt more like Rush Limbaugh. But no,
Right. It's like the beginning to Hannity.
yeah, is it really? I thought it was just Hannity.
I don't know what it is. I remember when Obama was in office, his opening was Conservatism in Exile.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wish. I mean,
Yeah. It is August the 8th, everybody. On this day in history, Nixon announces his resignation. Do you know the year?
1960.
No.
50?
No.
70.
1974.
Man, that was a long war.
Guess
Vietnam.
what? I just barely remembered to transition to our faces. That's okay.
What?
Like-
Oh.
1974.
That's crazy.
Yeah, wouldn't that be awesome if it
I thought it
happened
was
again?
longer ago. Well, on that topic, there was an executive order today
Yeah, I saw that.
because I gotta say that I'm annoyed with Democrats just in general with everything. They could have just freaking put something through. All right.
So, do you want my take on this situation? So, let's tell everybody what happened.
All right.
The president, I saw the AP alert.
It's only a few hours ago, isn't it?
Yeah. He signed 4 executive orders to defer payroll tax and allow for some unemployment pay. The president did this because Congress couldn't do it.
They could. They just.
Well, yeah. Now, I shared this to Facebook. I don't know if you saw it, just barely, and said, good on him.
Yeah,
Now,
I saw.
I also think it's a play. There's 2 issues.
No,
First is he doesn't know where the money's coming from,
Right.
which doesn't really matter in the long run.
Well, I
Th-
mean,
they're gonna send the money out, and
if-
then we'll figure it out
if
later.
Congress would have, yeah.
Yeah. So here's what I think happened, and I'm not up on the specifics at all.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Pelosi hasn't met with Trump since last year. They're not speaking. They're not on speaking terms.
Well, she did call him obese.
And Schumer was trying to negotiate. Pelosi was trying to negotiate. Whatever. So here's what I think really happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the Republicans knew that they weren't going to allow anything to go through, so that their candidate would look like a hero. At the end of the day,
I mean-
the American people are getting something
Right.
that need it. So good.
Well, there's no stimulus check in this executive order, is there?
No, and it's only.
Because I really was looking forward to that again.
I think what he promised was $400 a week, which is less than the $600.
I gotta say that I think that's fine. I don't know. I don't know what your opinion is, but
My opinion is, dude.
there are just a plethora of people that were making more money.
The problem is, people need to stop going to work, right? Right now, we're giving people an unemployment check because their business can't be sustained right now in this economy, right?
Uh-huh.
But it's not solving the coronavirus problem.
There's a problem.
So, like, in my opinion, this type of action should be twofold. It should be, we're going to give you unemployment so that you don't go to work.
I see what you're
We need everybody to stay home for 6 weeks We're going to pay you so that you can stay home. So close Olive Garden, close Target,
Oh my God, not Target.
like grocery store. Fine, grocery
No,
stores.
I can't have Amazon going back to non-second day delivery,
Right.
next day delivery. I
Right.
can't do that again.
So
That was the worst time in my life.
So like I said, I feel like this was a play. I feel like the Republicans probably knew all along. Now, first of all, you should understand that half of Republicans don't want to sign any stimulus for the American people. So if you're a Republican and you're
Right.
listening to this, you might want to check if your representative did, because half of them did not want to give the American people anything else.
Right.
So Mitch McConnell was only working with half of his delegation, which is enough.
Do hate Mitch.
If he had Democrats and half his delegation, that would have worked, right? But I think that it was on purpose. I think the Republicans knew all along that they weren't going to do it so that the president could be their savior, and it's an election year. So whatever, good play. At the end of the day, the American people are getting money, which they need.
So that got me, when I heard about this, the possibility of it last night, I started looking up executive orders to see where Trump ranks. And Wikipedia, well, first of all, we're going to do a guessing game here real quick.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I'll just go ahead and tell you that President Trump has issued 179 executive orders.
Okay.
And this Wikipedia page is pretty cool because it breaks it down in years in office. He's had 3.55, and so executive orders per year is 46.5. Now, what I want you to do is guess who has or who issued the most.
Oh, I already know.
Do you?
Yeah.
And who issued the least?
Oh, of all time?
Yeah,
Oh, I think Obama issued the most.
not even close.
Really? I know he did a lot, though.
Well,
Because that was a
according
main-
to this, he actually is below Trump's per year. But,
okay.
but that's that's in two terms. Obama is not even close
To the most overall.
In fact, he's pretty low. He's lower than W. Clinton and Reagan.
Oh, I guess W probably did it because of 9/11, maybe? I don't know.
You're on the right track, but still.
I just remember conservatives complaining about Obama, using it all the time. So now I find it really hypocritical that Trump is actually trending to do more.
I will say that this person who, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the number, all right?
Okay, so remind me again what Trump is at.
Trump is at
174?
179.
179 executive orders.
Okay,
And
yeah.
Almost
And
a full term.
all time is 3,728. Now, I will tell you, this president was a Democrat, but he was a very well-liked
Roosevelt?
president.
Roosevelt?
You got to be a little more specific there.
Franklin. Francis?
Franklin D. Roosevelt
Okay.
issued 3,728 executive orders.
To pull us out of the depression.
And
Right.
his number per year is 307.8, which is the higher than anybody. There are other people that have done like Woodrow Wilson did 1,800.
how many-
Harry S. Truman did 900.
How many did Obama do?
Obama did 276.
Oh, in 2 terms.
Yeah.
So let's look at the trend. Let's look at modern history, though. So what did
Trump is 100 off.
What did Bush do?
Bush did 291.
And Clinton?
Clinton 364.
Okay, so in terms of modern history, Trump is up there with Clinton.
As
he's-
far as per year goes,
He's kind of trending.
if he were to do another 4 years, I mean, right now his per year is higher than Clinton's, but
right.
I
I mean, I don't know if there's really an ingredient to point to.
Ronald Reagan had 381, which is more than all of them.
Yeah, and so executive orders are interesting because they're only legal if no one challenges them.
Right.
Right. As soon as they go to the Supreme Court, they're usually deemed illegal.
Right.
Right. Like you can't do that. Like DACA, for example.
Right.
You know, I should clarify when Trump tried to roll back DACA.
Right.
Which is funny because it was an executive order to begin with. If I'm not mistaken.
I know. My dad was like, "Oh, I can't believe they did that. It was an illegal," and I just stopped him and I was like, "What about all of Trump's executive orders and that he was done, man. He was just like,
Black Lives Matter. Like I said, I don't. The AP released this story, and of course, they whoever wrote it also said, like, we're not sure if he has the authority to do this. He didn't outline at all where the money's going to come from, because normally this is funded through payroll taxes, and he's deferring those through the end of the year.
ooh.
So employers, obviously, if they don't have employees working, they're not paying payroll tax. But
Right.
those who do aren't paying a payroll tax. But like I said, it's only solving half the problem, right? Like, we have to get people to stay home again.
I want you to guess who has done the least. And keep in mind that this person
Gerald Ford.
is from the Whig Party.
Oh, dang it.
The Whig Party. Now,
John Adams.
I know it's a hard question,
Okay.
but when you do find out the answer, you're going to be like, oh, duh, of course. That's
Okay.
obvious.
Um,
Because I didn't guess it, but when I saw it, I was like, oh, of course. Obviously, I mean, yeah.
well, I don't know. I don't know that many Whigs. Wasn't John Adams a Whig?
He was a Federalist.
Oh, right. So, and Jefferson was a Democratic Republican, if I remember right. So the Whig wasn't till later then.
Yeah, in the
Give me a year.
18
A range.
18 this I'll tell you when this person was inaugurated.
Inaugurated.
Apparently they used to do it in March 4th. March 4th, 1841.
I don't know. Was that Jackson? Oh, no, it's the dude who died. Oh, man.
See? William Henry Harrison gave 0 executive orders.
Okay.
His years in office is 0.08.
That's an asterisk. Who really had the least?
Well, it's a tie. Washington had 8, surprisingly.
For 2 whole terms, 1 a year,
Yeah, it's true.
1 per year. The last independent president.
That's what it says.
Yeah.
John Adams had 1. James Madison and Monroe both had 1. Then it kind of starts to take off. It all stays in the low numbers until Grant does 217, and then it's lower again until Theodore Roosevelt does 1,000.
Whoa! What did Lincoln do?
Oh, he did a lot too. I found that wartime presidents did. Lincoln only did 48, but that is the most. That is the most. I mean,
up until
him, that was yeah.
Well, he had a Congress that was not right.
Right.
Half of his Congress was trying to secede. So,
you'd think that it would get worse, but it's kind of remained about the same throughout history, except for the Roosevelts and
I really would have expected
Calvin
more.
Coolidge did 1,200 for some reason.
I would have expected more from Obama simply because of the recession, but I guess he had a Congress to work with.
Yeah.
So he didn't need to do executive orders.
Speaking with the Congress to work with. Now,
what do you think of my theory, though, about the Republicans' play?
I mean, I would like to hope that's not the reality of the situation, but it's, I don't know, man. These people pull all sorts of crap.
It's a brilliant move.
Yeah.
Politically, right? Like, no, let's just let the president do it, then he'll get reelected.
Right.
I mean, I don't know, because when you came in here, you said, I'm pissed at Democrats for not forcing something through, right?
Well,
why aren't you equally just as pissed at the Republicans?
Yeah, no, I know, but
that's you're kind of a moderate.
Right. I'm irritated with both of them.
Sure.
And I just seems I think the Democrats were asking for too much. I do think that, but I think
from what I read, the Democrats were asking not only for the unemployment benefits for citizens, they were also asking for state and local relief.
Oh.
And the Republicans did not want to do that.
I guess there was like some airplanes and stuff in there too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Probably like an abortion clinic.
Yeah.
was probably in there.
Now, speaking of mysterious airplanes, what is the one thing that I've wanted to see since we started this podcast?
The Osama bin Laden helicopter.
Yes.
Did you find it?
Well,
Can I just Google that?
No. Well, yeah, I just sent you the link. Now, I don't know how accurate thedrive.com is, but they claim...
Partisan hacks.
They claim to have a picture of the Osama bin Laden helicopter.
I'm going to go slow like it's an old modem loading. This is the first photo ever of a stealthy Black Hawk helicopter.
Now, they're not confirming that this is real, but anyway, I'm disappointed. It looks
Every time I see stealth technology, it looks like patchwork because that's what it is, right?
well, the older stuff for sure.
Right. But even the new F-35s, like the stealth cloth or whatever it is, the Kevlar, what is it? That's on the outside of the plane.
I don't. It's paint. The paint is what makes it.
Is it? Okay. It always looks like patchy to me.
Well,
Not patchy.
Yeah, no,
just
I
patchy.
know what you're saying, but it's like the F-17 was like that because I just watched a documentary about it. What was it? It was something about the computers didn't have the ability to calculate the
like the
curve of
right,
the
It
airplane and
it bounced off rather than
Right.
reflected. So, how much was it? Was it C4 that they used to blow this thing up?
Oh.
Not this one, but the one that crashed during the Osama bin Laden raid.
probably.
I mean, that's a big helicopter. How
Now-
much C4 do you use, and what are they trying?
Well,
what's
it's
the
not
most
that
important
big.
thing?
It's one of it's there's bigger helicopters.
Well, it is, but I mean, that's it's carrying personnel.
yeah.
Like,
I don't know. I mean, maybe they didn't.
is it the computer? Because obviously you can't destroy like the whole outer skin here.
Right.
Maybe the computer, the engine's gonna be intact, relatively.
I don't know. Maybe they used ammonium nitrate. But anyway, so this isn't confirmed, but I mean, if this picture looks real-ish, but
I
so
believe it.
yeah. And it does the components like the tail matches up with what we saw, but
Do you know what we got to do? You got to find the about section.
I just think it's weird that it hasn't shown
look
up on any other news sources.
Hang on a second. Let me go back here. I didn't scroll down through this article. Look at the whole. Is that the tail? Right there.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so this was intact after the fact.
Yeah, I think that they left.
What is that?
They didn't
mirrored close up of the intake and exhaust on the modified EH60. Oh, they're comparing it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, because exhaust is the heat signature can give them away, right?
Right.
That's a cool picture. Very stealthy.
That's not it. That's something else.
That is the RAH-66A Comanche.
That
is the Sikorsky.
a new. Oh, there's several new helicopters out there. That's a Comanche. That must be.
That's a
it's
demonstrator.
prototype.
That's
Yeah.
a cool name, dude. Demonstrator. Ooh, schematics.
There are some really cool helicopters coming on the horizons to replace the Black Hawk. There's a competition going between Lockheed and and Boeing. I can't remember. One of them paired up with Sikorsky. But
Wait a second. So I'm on their website. I'm
Yeah.
trying to find their about, right? Because then you can usually find out about them. Acton Media, first of all. But over here, RV rentals.
well, yeah, like I said, it doesn't. I don't know.
I like to believe it. They, why do they gotta? Oh, it's the same people who own Bob Vila.
The guy that used to build the
BobVila.com
and showed up on
Home Improvement.
Home Improvement all the time.
Yeah,
He was
Tool
like
Time.
Tim's arch nemesis.
Yeah.
All
all right.
funny.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of ammonium nitrate,
Yes.
if that's what they used to shoot down that, or to blow up there. It's got to be C4. I mean, that's just like,
Yeah, it's-
you play enough Call of Duty, you know what they used,
Right.
Right?
Well, of course.
Yeah.
So ammonium nitrate was the cause, as far as we know, of the massive explosion that happened in Beirut
Lebanon.
earlier this week.
Have
Was
you
it this
seen-
week?
Have you seen these freaking before and afters?
Yeah, man. It's
It's a crater.
Well, did you see that
Yeah,
explosion?
I did. I watched all of the
I
angles
know.
that came in.
And I had no idea it had happened, and so I was watching the video, and I was like, "Oh man, that's pretty bad." And then all the
boom. Yeah.
boom, like, holy crap!
Yeah.
What just happened? Did we just attack somebody? Like, was that a nuke? What is going on?
I was waiting for a slowed down where you could see like the missile come in, But that was a huge.
What you got to do when
look
you
at
watch
that.
it is look at the buildings that it hits, or you can just see them like fly apart.
Right, cars flipping over.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's gone. Their whole economy, like they can't import, they can't export right now. Their port is gone.
Yeah.
It's a crater filled with water now. And I find the death toll, there's no way that can be right.
100? Yeah, that does seem pretty low.
That seems so low considering, I mean, what time of day was it?
Well, it was probably, because there were 4,000 injuries, so 100 is probably anyone in the general vicinity and then, or who worked at the building, and then the rest maybe just were severely injured. I mean, we don't know the extent of the injuries. It never really tells you unless...
Right. Al Jazeera, killing at least 157. Okay, so the number's gone up. When was this? This was yesterday? No, 2 days ago. This for how big that explosion was, unless it was a non-work time, there are a lot of people at a port.
Yeah.
So
it's a big city, too.
And so I didn't read a lot about it. They're saying it was ammonium nitrate, which is basically dynamite, right?
Yeah, and yeah, I think it's the same thing that was used on Oklahoma City bomb.
Oh, like fertilizer and...
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was also... The same thing happened in Texas, the city of West Texas, 3 years ago. And it's a similar thing. It's almost identical where you can see there's fire trucks and they're trying to put this thing out and someone's filming it and it looks like a big fire and then...
Just gone.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the firefighters died and it tore down half the town. So...
That's crazy.
It's I don't know why they're storing it. Just PSA, everyone. Don't store ammonium nitrate, especially next to a fireworks factory. Is that what they said?
I don't know.
You could see fireworks going off.
Right, you could see them, yeah. But ammonium nitrate, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't need a spark. It's just like, it's kinetic.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, like I remember, at least, I could be wrong, but like a documentary about them building the railroad when they were first using it.
Oh.
It was like they had like a little... like an essential oil vial, like gently putting it down.
Oh, I know what you're
you know
talking
what I'm saying?
about, yeah.
And it didn't even need a fuse. Now, obviously, a fuse will do it, but I don't know. I didn't even know what it was. I hadn't looked into it.
Yeah. It was, it's crazy.
But
and
it's creating some political strife over there because
it's all sorts, yeah.
the customs department was like, we've been asking the city where to put this for 6 years, so we just kept adding to the pile. Or something, I don't know.
Is that a good excuse?
No, I'm like, unless you can
put it in the ocean or something.
Right. You got to be able to provide some receipts or something, some sort of documentation.
Right.
Yeah, you can't just make a claim.
Well, we asked them.
Yeah, we asked him where to put it. John, didn't you ask him? Yeah,
it's like if I was a manager at Smith's and there was, a stick of dynamite in the back, and I'm like, hey, Mr. Johnson, where do I put that stick of dynamite that's lit? Can you tell me? And he's like, I don't know, just deal with it. Okay. I asked him where
Whatever
to put
you say. I mean, you're the boss. I was just following orders.
Oh, man. Anyway, speaking of following orders, I ran across a store. I probably should have just made this a random headline, but I thought it was fascinating. A bed and breakfast that is in the U.S., and it is, where's it at? St. John's, Michigan. The owners, I don't know if the owners are immigrants or if their parents are immigrants or what, but for whatever reason, they have a Norwegian flag flying at their bed and breakfast. Do you know what the Norwegian flag looks like?
I believe it's blue with a yellow.
No yellow.
Oh.
No. It is red, white, and blue. And it has, and I didn't even know this, all the Scandinavian countries have the same flag, just different variations. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
That was something I
was picturing this design.
Yeah. So what happens when you tilt that a little bit?
I tilt my head. It kind of looks like a Confederate flag.
Yeah. So people...
Minus the stars.
People started getting after these people because they thought that it was a Confederate flag.
Okay,
and
people, come on.
Yeah.
There's no stars.
Yeah.
You're getting a little loose. It's not like centered, right?
Well, I mean, I guess if it was flying really, just the wind was really sticking it to the flag.
Right.
You just couldn't see it, then I guess.
You're like, you call the cops. All I got to say is it's the shittiest
It's
Confederate flag I've ever seen.
It's like a Chinese knockoff Confederate flag. Well, you want no Confederate flag?
Right. This was made
This
in
is the one
Hong Kong.
you buy on eBay, and then you get it, and you're like, oh, this isn't a Confederate flag.
Dude, I would give anything to see someone with the Trump flag on their truck, and on the other side of their truck flying the flag of Norway.
There's like iron-on stars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So it was just tilted a little.
Yeah.
How many people are we talking about?
I don't know, enough where they took it down.
Oh my gosh. Oh, look, here it is. Yeah, look at all these sites. Chicago Tribune, Forbes. Oh, there's I guess kind of a picture of it. Oh, look, some Euro News did a mock-up over here.
All right.
No, brother. Come on. No, you should be able, like, if I was at a bed and breakfast and I was like, hey, I'm not staying here unless you take that flag down. And they're like, what, you got a problem with Norway? I'd be like, oh, excuse me.
Yes.
I'm really sorry.
They have terrible music, and
you'd be like, oh, I'm sorry. No. I thought it was a Confederate flag. They're like, oh, no, we got that one out back.
oh, so yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Now, also, speaking of things that are funny, Joe Biden is stupid.
Sure.
Did you hear his comment this week?
No. Maybe. What,
Really? About black people?
No, I was gone. I wasn't paying attention to the news for
Oh,
a
where
few
were
days.
you?
I went up to Bear Lake.
Oh, I didn't. Thanks for the heads up. Everyone I know went to Bear Lake recently. Hold on, let me pull it up. You're gonna want to hear this.
Okay.
Is
it worse than the like
Yes.
black kids deserve the same education as rich people, like that one?
Yeah, I think so. Let's see if this is it. Hopefully it is. Come on, USA Today, play the video.
I feel like it's just going to be a competition of gaffes.
Yeah, but Trump's gaffes seem so.
Did you hear him? Trump made 2 this week.
Yeah.
Thailand. He pronounced Thailand.
Well, to him maybe it was Thailand.
And then he also Yosemite was on his speech he was reading, and he presented said the word Yosemite.
Serious?
Yosemite. Yeah.
Yosemite. I'm going to call it that now. Absolutely.
Yeah, Yosemite.
Yosemite Park.
And he stopped. He's like, "Is that a?
Is that correct?
Is that a?
Did I say
is that
that
a Jewish thing?" Yosemite.
Oh, okay. There's all these. That's what I hate about YouTube is that there's always got to be a clip with someone's like explanation of it. Like, I just want to hear.
For something he said about African Americans at a virtual conference for black and Hispanic journalists. Ed O'Keefe is covering campaign 20.
You all know.
Okay, here.
What you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American.
Okay, he's talking to Hispanics
Okay.
right
okay.
now. That's his.
Is he doing like a virtual AMA or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
What you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. You go to Florida, you find a very different attitude about immigration in certain places than you do when you're in Arizona.
Okay.
So the Fox News took it, and of course they cut off where he says different attitude about immigration.
Yeah.
So
let's take this piece by piece.
Uh-huh.
It's weird to say that any one race is more diverse than another one, only because of the general public's limited understanding of the word diverse.
Well, but he wasn't talking.
Right.
The whole thing doesn't make sense. Like he's saying that they have diverse attitudes towards immigration. So what does that mean? Some Hispanics are for immigration. Some want to ban immigration.
No, it's totally true.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think what he's getting at is,
and then black people apparently don't care.
well, I mean,
I guess maybe
I don't know where he was going with. I don't think he was saying that black people anything about immigration. I think that he was simply making a point that I'm not trying to defend it, by the way.
No,
I'm just trying to understand it. I think that what he was trying to say was that that Hispanic people have differing attitudes among issues, whereas the black community tends to have the same general attitude towards things, and he uses immigration as I'm not saying
Right.
it's true.
No, yeah,
but he's using
I know.
immigration as an example because he's right. Hispanics in Arizona are going to be much more pro-immigration than Hispanics in Florida because of Cubans. Cubans aren't well liked in Florida.
They aren't?
No, because they're same.
They're what? They're no good.
I'm not in Florida. I think we should have open borders, personally. I think we should just, look, okay, here's your social security card. Thanks for coming in. Please pay tax. I don't care.
Do you think if aliens come, we could have open borders?
No, we wouldn't let them in. So
anyway, I just think it was...
I think that's a pretty light gaffe.
Yeah, but people took it and ran with it.
So what
it
did
was
he-
over all the news.
He apologized for lumping all black people into
He
one.
apologized and said that he meant in immigration, but it's still kind of you shouldn't generalize like that.
Sure. I mean, yes. You should always stay away from generalizations. However, I would argue that in modern history, and when I say modern history, maybe like 30 years, black people tend to vote democratically.
Well, yeah.
And Democrats tend to be more pro-immigration. So it's easier to, you know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas the Hispanic vote can be split in some states.
That's true.
So I don't disagree with him. I understand you got to tread lightly.
Right.
And frankly, I like Joe Biden's play lately. He's letting Trump
It's
just
2020. He needs to be canceled, just like Ellen. Ellen apparently.
What the hell, dude?
Did you
Are
see all
serious?
that? I'm like, what is happening? Ellen is getting railroad. What?
She is getting absolutely railroaded. I don't know. Some staffer complained.
Yeah.
Multiple staffers. I don't know. But she's employed like 3,000 people.
Yeah, I don't know.
Over the course of 20 years.
It seems extreme, but I don't know. Maybe it was really that bad. Maybe she's a tyrant.
But were any specific allegations made?
Just that it's hostile.
Just hostile.
It's a hostile, toxic work environment.
There wasn't like sex abuse,
No,
physical abuse,
no.
verbal abuse.
I don't think so.
Pay
No.
is low. It wasn't. It was just generally.
Which isn't really any. That's most companies have terrible.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, go to Glassdoor and look at any company. If you can find a company that has 3.5 stars or more, go work for them immediately because people get on there and complain. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
They're
right.
disgruntled. I don't know. I have a hard time believing that.
I don't know.
And maybe I put Ellen on a pedestal. I don't know. But it just seems weird to me that.
She seems nice to me. I've never met her or interacted with her at all. But
I mean, so did Bill O'Reilly.
no, he did not seem like a nice
Yeah.
person at all.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Same thing. I kind of been out of the news loop a lot lately.
Well, lucky you. Well, speaking of loops, let's loop back to last week.
Okay.
When we talked about Lauren McCluskey
Oh yes.
and her therapy records being
Are the subject of
released or wanting
lawsuit.
to be
Her
released.
parents want the records released. We were speculating a little bit, but I think we're right.
That's true. I don't think there's anything that says that's why they're going after it.
No, but it makes sense.
Right.
I think that they're trying. Obviously, they have an ongoing lawsuit with the University of Utah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're trying to paint the University of Utah in as bad a light as possible.
Right.
So if they can point out that her therapist actually called campus police after Lauren maybe said that she felt threatened, then they could show how negligent the police were on another front.
Right.
So 2 things. I called my dad. He was a therapist. And he said, first of all, if someone comes into your office and tells you that they're being threatened, you're not obligated to report that.
Right.
You might call with your client. You know what I mean? You might call the police together or call someone together to sort it out. But ultimately, that client is there just to confide in you. So the only time you're obligated to report to police is if they're threatening themselves or someone else, or they're actively abusing someone.
Right.
You know, or they can admit to a crime with a victim. I know it gets gray.
Right.
Like if you went in there and said, I got to talk to you. I've been abusing the boy next door. Right.
Oh.
You have to report.
Right.
And my dad had that happen.
Right. I think we talked about that when we were talking about the bishop who didn't call police.
Yeah, and they're obligated as well, just like professionals.
Uh-huh.
But he answered before I could even stop speaking. He's like, no, not a chance. I would not release those records.
Oh.
She's not around to release them.
Right.
He's like, so I would ignore any subpoena, any warrant until they came and physically took them from me. He's like, even then, I don't know, I might just shred them.
Right.
So he was unequivocal about it.
Well, that's kind of how I felt. Is
Yeah.
like I don't feel like because you go to a therapist and you tell them things you would not tell anybody else, which is why you go to a therapist
Right.
because they're not there to judge you or anything. Like you
Right.
know, you could tell them I fantasize about unicorns and I, and their horns, put
Right.
going into my butt. and no one else wants to know about that or needs to know about that. But
We see the same therapist, and she told me about a patient. She didn't mention any
passing-
names.
I can't say any names, but there's this guy. You think you're bad? Unicorn.
Imagine-
All I'm going to say: unicorn, horn, butt. All right, you draw.
Unihorn. Anyway, yeah, he even called me back later. He's like, I was thinking more about it, and no, I wouldn't turn them over. I don't care what they served me with, and he's like, and on top of that, I don't know what they could possibly help with this investigation. And so I explained it to him, what I just said, that if the therapist did call the police and there's a record of it,
Right.
in the notes, like Lauren told me this, called the police, and they still didn't do anything. I think that's where they're going.
Right.
But yeah, he was like, no, not a chance. The person's not around to I can't remember
They
what
should
word
just.
he used,
They
but
should
release.
probably just get rid of them after someone
Yeah.
dies, right? Like just.
I'm
shred
sure
'em.
there's a law about how long you have to keep notes. My therapist doesn't even hold a notepad when I'm talking to her. She remembers all my shit somehow.
Really?
Yeah, she's good. Anyway,
It's kind of
yeah,
weird. I don't know.
I know. Yeah.
Huh.
But he was pretty hardcore about it. Like, no, not at all.
Well, I mean, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Something that I saw this week or I noticed. So, did you hear about the complete video of George Floyd's
Yes.
arrest and death was released?
Yes.
Okay.
I did hear about it.
So, with that came a lot of people who said there were more circumstances, blah, 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 blah. And what a lot of people, and, I looked into George Shore. I read more about him, and he did have a pretty extensive police record.
Sure.
One was including armed robbery.
Right. He held a gun to
Right.
a pregnant woman's stomach while they were
Yeah.
robbing her. In her
So,
house.
I mean,
Sure.
he had a checkered past, I guess. But what I thought was interesting, and whether you agree with it or not, with what happened to him, I guess most people probably agree he shouldn't have been killed.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I know. But the what was coming out of people was like, see, the left is just trying to push their agenda.
Right. So if you
And
don't
then-
know, yeah, the entire body cam from the first time they approached George in his car was released. If you don't understand what's happening,
Right.
And
Oh, he was also
it
on
shows
meth.
him intoxicated. I think they said that they found meth in his system.
They found meth and the one that's worse. The Chinese
Fentanyl?
one. Yeah, fentanyl.
which is weird. It's an upper and downer, but people do that a lot, right?
Yeah.
Because they want the high of the downer, but not they don't want to go to sleep.
Right.
So they take an upper with it. So yeah, he was high. He was what's the word? Is
He
it
also
combative
had-
a good word?
He also had heart disease.
Yeah.
There's a lot of contributing.
So the comments I saw a lot were like they put him in the car and he was complaining about that he couldn't breathe even in the car.
right.
And so that's why they ended up taking him out of the car.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do you remember what grounds they pulled him over on or approached his vehicle?
Well,
DUI?
the owner of the shop,
that's right.
had
That's right.
said he was using fake.
So was he just sitting in his car, or did they pull
Yes,
him over?
he was
Okay.
just sitting in his car.
So he was just sitting in his car after
he-
allegedly.
he
do we
would-
even know if he used counterfeit money at this point?
I don't know. I haven't seen
Yeah.
That's up to the Secret Service.
Yeah,
That's where
right.
That's where it goes.
So yes, and I knew.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I did.
Like,
That
I
the
think we've
Secret
talked
Service
about it.
uses
That if you were
counterfeit
to
money.
if you were to take just a blank piece of paper and write dollar bill on it and try to use it, the police still have to go take that to the Secret Service.
That's a good way to waste a lot of time.
Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
No, and I already knew. I didn't see the whole video because it just came out.
I haven't
but
watched it.
I already knew that he had been placed in a car and then removed. Right, he was put up against a wall. Then he was taken to the side of the car. I knew that he resisted.
Mm-hmm.
Right, at first I knew that he was intoxicated. All of that being said, he was cuffed with 3 officers kneeling on him, one on his neck.
Right.
So I don't really know.
So
I don't really know what.
Here's my thought. This is what I'm saying is that when people say the left is trying to push their agenda, so what is that agenda that they're trying to push? That we shouldn't kill people? I just don't understand.
No. The left would say that, yes, right?
Right.
Our agenda is for police to stop killing black people and stop treating them worse.
Right.
The right would say that the left is simply trying to divide the country. The left is trying to create division so that they'll win the election, I guess.
So,
I don't know how it works, but that's what I see.
But that's what the right does.
Right. And on top of that, they also suppress the vote. But whatever. We're in the weeds.
Right.
But that's what I see a lot. And we've talked about this before, that overt racism is real and it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, the bigger problem in society at large is non-racist people who don't believe racism is real.
Right.
So then they fall on the side of, well, what you guys are saying is bullshit. That's not true.
Mm-hmm.
Racism isn't real.
Right.
And I'm like, how can you tell someone who was discriminated against that they weren't discriminated against, right?
Right.
At some point, you have to kind of start believing the consensus of what black people are telling you. Just because you've never witnessed it and just because you're not yourself, you're not a racist, doesn't mean it's not real. And that's where the word anti-racist comes from.
Does that apply to Santa Claus?
Yeah. The difference between being a non-racist and an anti-racist, right?
Mm-hmm.
A non-racist is someone who just doesn't think, they're not racist themselves, and they don't think it's real. They're just like, no, you guys are complaining about a non-issue.
Mm-hmm.
Police don't profile people. They don't kill black people more often, even though the statistics are very clear. They choose to ignore them.
Well, I think that gets into a really weird area because black men typically commit more crime, so they also commit more murders. So it kind of goes, hand in hand there that they might be involved in more officer-involved shootings.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm not saying that there's not. I've seen videos of unjust officer-involved deaths. But I'm just saying that I think that data could be a little skewed. And honestly, it just seems like everyone throws all this data, one way or the other. Can we just get actual everything, every ounce of data to figure out what is real?
Interestingly enough, that's exactly what Black Lives Matter Utah is trying to do.
Right.
For people who don't know and just jump on they're a Marxist bandwagon, Lex Scott from Black Lives Matter Utah is fighting for data. That's all she wants. She wants data about who's pulled over, who's arrested, when is force used, why is force used, who's it used against more. I want all that data.
Just like Johnny 5, she needs input.
Yeah, just like that. It's like Superman 3.
Input. Input.
No, I mean, I think... you can get into statistic conversations and still have a leg to stand on here, right?
Right.
When you talk about that black people commit more crime, you got to understand who has the discretion to call what someone does a crime, with the exception of murder.
No, I know, but black men do commit more murders by a lot.
They're also incarcerated falsely at a higher rate.
Well, yeah, I can agree.
Right?
I agree with that.
So, but let's take crime. Let's just take crime. Who's the person on the ground that gets to decide if the person that they are talking with committed a crime or not?
No, I understand that. I get what you're saying because I've seen plenty of videos of that where
the police have ultimate discretion.
Right.
And listening to the assistant deputy chief of Salt Lake City, they try their best to create policies to remove that discretion. Like take speeding, for example. They don't allow their police officers to write tickets for speeding under a certain limit so that you couldn't use your discretion unjustly, right? But they always have discretion. They always do. They can charge someone with resisting arrest or disturbing the peace on no grounds.
I've seen some questionable takedowns on Live PD that I was like, this doesn't seem... And they were actually fat white people.
If you tackle someone...
Fat white people lives matter too.
If you tackle someone and they roll over to see who just tackled them, and then you call that resisting arrest...
Yeah, no,
I have a hard time with that one, you know? Anyway, my point is that... I don't know where we got on this.
I don't remember.
But I think the statistics are clear. What I was saying is that non-racists are part of the problem. They don't think racism is real.
Right.
Until you hear it from... It's the empathy tree. Until you've heard from a black person about some of the experiences they've had, either just in public or with people or with police, you might not believe that racism is real because you think everyone's like you.
Right.
I'm not racist. So why would anybody be? Okay, I get that. I get what you're saying, but that's not how it works. There are still people who are. So, and to tell a black person that they're not it's rude. It's to show no empathy toward their situation at all.
Right.
So, in terms of what the right thinks the left is doing, the right thinks the left is trying to divide the country somehow to help them win the election. I'm not entirely sure. Mm-hmm. Actually, I would say that the conspiracy theories on the right are that the left just doesn't like the country. The left is trying to destroy the country.
Oh, right.
So if you're going really deep, that's what they think, right? Not everybody on the right.
The right is okay.
Not everybody on the right, not every Republican thinks that Democrats are trying to ruin the country. But that's the main conspiracies you might hear on like Tucker,
right,
Hannity, and Ingram and Rush is that the left does not care about America.
Well, I encourage people who feel that way to go and look up the Social Nationalist Party and find out what they were all about. And I think you're going to be surprised to find out how similar they are.
We already talked about this guy, but guess who the last socialist president we had was?
Oh,
Roosevelt.
Which one?
Franklin.
There are two. Don't forget.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt was a democratic socialist, and we the American people reelected him 3 times. He served 4 terms because we liked him so much.
Yeah.
He died in office.
Didn't even get to.
Which is weird. Because we liked him so much, yet they still passed an amendment that says a president can't serve more than 2 terms. Now, I'm glad the amendment was passed.
They're like, well...
Someone had some foresight. That's great.
We've had enough of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was reading about Nazism the other day, and it was... there's a lot of... I don't know. It's very interesting, you know? There's a lot of similarities to far right-wing...
Oh, for sure.
And not...
They're much closer. So much closer.
And I can't...
to far right.
I haven't really been able, besides... Well, I guess far left wing would be... what's his name? Communism.
It's Stalin.
Yeah.
Either way, it leads to fascism or totalitarianism.
Right.
If you start going down that path, if you try and find the extremes.
Right.
But we already live in a socialist society.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even your insurance company is socialist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true.
If you and I had the same insurance company,
mm-hmm.
we're both paying $100 a month in premiums, and I lose a leg. Well, I haven't paid enough in,
right,
to cover the cost of losing a leg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but you have,
right.
I take from everybody else's pot to pay off my leg.
I hope that this pandemic has shown a light on how stupid it is to have your insurance tied with your job. That doesn't make any sense.
Unless you're a Republican. They think that that's how it should be.
Yeah, well...
It's absolutely ridiculous.
It works real well, doesn't it?
What does it have to do with anything?
Well, you lost your job because of the pandemic? Well, good
Now you
luck
no
if
longer
you
have
get
insurance. Right.
Well, we should vote those people out. And speaking about voting,
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
I actually haven't read this.
Me neither. But
Oh.
I put it on the rundown. I put it on the rundown because I thought you'd be
It
excited.
looks good.
Because I never thought that this would even come close to being talked about. And this is what we're talking about
Well,
is ranked choice
Where
voting.
is this at? Because Utah County was trying it out.
This is Utah. Written by a KSL article. It's not a contributor. A KSL reporter, Graham Dudley. Utah officials praise ranked choice voting in Thursday forum.
So I'm guessing that this is because there were several counties. Yeah, here, Payson, Vineyard, Utah County. There were several places that were
That tried
testing out ranked voting, and they're like, it turns out this is great.
So here's the methods. The most common involves selecting just one winner from a field. If no candidates receive more than 50% of the first place votes, the candidate with the fewest first place votes is eliminated. Voters who choose the eliminated candidate will then be counted as voting for their second choice, and so on until one candidate has a majority.
And then you play your Charizard and you use firepower and
Yeah.
right.
So I like this, though, because at the beginning, Utah officials participated in a series of webinars to talk about ranked choice voting, and they liked hearing what they heard.
Is it just me, or is Utah kind of leading the way in
Yeah, we've had
voting?
mail-in voting.
What's up with that?
I don't know. Smart people here.
Um,
Most of the time.
Well, I hope that the voting officials, what are they called? The votatarians, the
The legislators?
the lieutenant governor, all those people take this to heart and look at making Utah as an example state.
We would, I mean, it's brilliant. It's such a better idea.
Well, it would
because
just change everything so dramatically.
we would not have 2 candidates on the ballot.
Right.
We would have 10.
Well, it would give people a chance. It would give
Bernie could be on the ballot.
right.
If we take this to a presidential level.
It would give that person that you're like, man, I like this person so much but I'm not sure they can beat Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So you put them as your top, and then eventually you get down to Joe Biden.
Well, let's look at this. Let's make an example. Let's make a hypothetical. Let's say the presidential election was Trump, Biden, and Bernie.
Dun, dun, dun.
And people who
I
are
assume Bernie is representing the Soviet Union party.
so people who are diehard Trumpers would probably rank their voting in Trump, Bernie, Biden.
You think?
I would think so because they hate Biden so much.
Yeah, but they hate socialism
I think they hate Biden
because
more.
they don't understand it.
I think they hate Biden more. Let's just go with that for a second.
Okay, all right.
The Biden people hate Trump so much that they would go Biden, Bernie, Trump.
Either
The Bernie
way.
people hate Trump. They would go Bernie, Biden, Trump. Now, if Trump didn't get 50% of the vote, then people's second choice would then count as their first, which would probably propel Bernie
Yeah,
to the top.
it would make for a lot more interesting elections. That's for sure.
And we could keep the Electoral College.
Ugh.
We could. This kind of helps it because in a state like Utah, that hypothetical I just laid out could really happen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now the question is, do you require ranked? Like if you don't vote ranked, your ballot does not count.
That seems tricky.
Because so let's say 20% of the electorate votes for Trump, but he doesn't get 50%. All their ballots are tossed. They no longer have a say at all.
I don't think that's what would happen. I think that I haven't read how they did theirs, but I would imagine that if you didn't rank your vote, then it still counts. I think.
Well, it would still count.
I don't know.
It still counts in the initial count, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't choose a second candidate and your primary candidate doesn't get 50%, then your ballot's just tossed. You no longer have any say at all.
Right.
So what I'm saying is for it to be truly a democratic process that then turns Republican for the Electoral College, you really should require people to rank their choices.
Right.
Because a lot of people wouldn't. They're like, no, I'm so confident that this candidate's going to win.
No, most people. Well, most people wouldn't. Like if I had to pick I wouldn't want to necessarily have to vote for Trump. Like, that
Put him
gets
in-
tricky, you know.
But I mean, and that's like, obviously this is a hypothetical. We probably won't reach ranked voting at least for maybe 20 years at the federal level.
Yeah.
We might get it at the state level sooner. And then once again, because how long have we had mail-in? 10, 15?
It's been that long.
It's been a long time.
Probably.
And that's just barely making the rounds nationally, and it's being shunned by one party, even though the states where it's been practiced are Republican.
Right.
I think all the states that have been California has done mail-in, but a lot of states that have done mail-in voting successfully are red.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
I know. Well, they just know. I think that if it wasn't this election, they wouldn't be so.
Yeah.
But they know that the more people that vote are gonna, even just your average person that's
Right.
like, man,
If the right
I have done
fails-
no research, but Trump is weird.
You're right. If the right fails at suppressing the vote, Joe Biden's going to win.
Right.
If they succeed at suppressing the vote, which they have before, then it's going to be close. I still think Biden's going to win, but that, you got to send that thought out to the universe. And
Well, didn't you do that last time?
no, I didn't. I was so confident that Hillary was going to win, and so were all the Bernie hardcore people. That's why Trump won.
Dun 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 dun. Oh, you got a couple other things here,
Yeah.
and I don't know what they are.
We have talked about expecting more from police in terms of like who they hire,
Right.
and that would probably help part of the problem to either require education or require more experience. Like I think one of the things I said was if I was a police chief, I wouldn't hire anybody who hadn't done 10 years for private security, like CBI.
If I was a police chief, I wouldn't hire anyone who played Call of Duty and
Right.
and played
Do you
Hardpoint
like video games?
and had a bunch of kills but no score in the Hardpoint.
Not a team player at all.
No.
And one of the points I talked about was that for a lot of people, policing it's a fallback. It's a safety net job. It's a safety net career, right? I can just become a cop. If shit goes bad at this place, I can always be a police officer. A lot of people think that way.
Yeah.
I've thought that way. Now, over the course of the last few years, I realized that I could not be a police officer because I would probably kill someone.
Yeah.
But I'm recognizing that in myself.
Right.
That I can't do it. Right. So this man here.
That's like me not being a pilot because I know I'd end up on the news.
Right. This officer, his name is Anthony, refused to give his last name, even though we have his picture.
Is that Anthony Johnson? No. That's his cousin Anthony Jones.
He was injured in the protests of May 30th when we were downtown. He got hit in the head with something. I think he got a concussion, and then someone hit him in the leg with like a bottle, I think. Something like that. He resigned the police department, disgruntled with leadership and with the city in general, saying that he didn't get the support that he needed, either probably morally, emotionally, you know what I mean? Like the chief didn't check in on me and I was injured, that kind of thing he was complaining about. And at first when you're reading it, you're like, okay, I actually kind of understand where this guy is coming from. It would kind of suck to get hurt on your job and your boss is like, doesn't even recognize it, right? Doesn't even acknowledge it. While he was I don't know if he actually went to the hospital, but I don't think he was stayed, So this guy, Anthony, he's 40 years old, had a career in the railroad business before becoming a cop. He was in his first year. And he's 40 years old. I don't like to do this very often. But when I see quotes, and I think that KUTV did this on purpose, they quoted this guy. Here's a quote from him. Property destroyed and livelihoods damaged while we was on the sideline watching for way too long, in my opinion. It makes him sound dumb.
Yeah, it does.
Let's see, there's another one. I took an oath to not let that happen. Vandalism, it's against the law. It's not my choice to decide what laws don't get broke and which ones we're going to let slide. we get hamstrung and not allowed to do our job a lot of the times by upper administration. It just sounds dumb, and I think KUTV did that on purpose, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that this highlights my point that this was clearly either a fallback job for him, or he legitimately worked for the railroad for 20 years and earned a pension, and was like, well, I could go be a cop now.
Right.
Like I have a pension, I can just go do that. But in my opinion, I've said this before, this is my problem. I have a problem with this, that unqualified people are becoming police officers. The qualification should be, the standard should be higher.
Well, I mean that's the problem, is that they don't pay enough.
Right.
And not only that, but even if they did pay enough, there's so much hostility towards them right now.
Yeah.
That the only
I would resign
people...
if you were a cop right now. If we had the same political outlook right now as we do, and we were both police officers, tell me you wouldn't quit.
It depends how much I was making.
I would absolutely quit. I'd be like, I'm going to get killed out there.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, a lot of police officers have.
Yeah.
There was and it's not a low retention job. High retention.
You mean there's a lot of turnover?
There's not
a lot of turnover. I was going to say there's not. There's not, because they get a pension at 20 or 25 years.
Yeah, and people generally like being police officers for one reason or the other.
Right.
And I believe this guy when he said it was a hard decision, and he loved it, and he just quit, man. And that's, I think that you don't require. Well, they do have pretty high. Some of the departments have pretty high standards. A lot of them still require some kind of a degree.
Yeah.
Even if it's just maybe an associate's or something like that. A lot of them require military experience, which I'm kind of on the fence whether that's good or bad.
Why do we want trained soldiers? Nothing against the military.
No, yeah, right? That's like
you wanted to risk your life for me. I love you. Right. But why would I want, if I was a mayor, why would I want a trained soldier to come be a peace officer?
I think it's maybe if you were an MP in the military police,
sure.
That makes a lot more sense.
Actually, I know a guy, his name's Justin. I think he's a DARE officer now.
Oh, really?
He was an MP.
My friend who's works for West Valley, he is a chaplain's bodyguard in the Navy Reserve.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome. Yeah, so I don't know why. I understand a lot of military do come and do that job. Probably for one reason is they don't think they can do anything else, right? Well, they think I have all this training in combat.
Yeah, but I think that's an issue because ideally the police shouldn't be in combat.
No,
it's not their. No,
you should be maintaining
the
peace.
And when I see these departments, like for example, when the riots were happening, remember, and I was watching KSL, and there were all these guys in the Army camo. Multicam, what's it called? Yeah.
Digi?
No, they don't have that anymore. It's the multicam. And they had M4s and M16s, and they had helmets, and the guy was like, "Oh, looks like the National Guard is here." And I was like, "No, that equipment's way too nice for the National Guard. Like that's
right.
That's a police." And it was the SWAT team.
Right.
And I think to myself, how often do they use that equipment?
Right.
Even when they do, like let's say you call out a SWAT team, how often do they get in Iraq style
where they need
gunfights where they need armored vehicles and all this stuff? Now, don't get me wrong, it's happened. I just watched a documentary a couple days ago about the guy who bulldozed the town.
Oh my! With the tank? Yeah, or the tractor?
It was a bulldozer that he made into a tank.
That guy was crazy.
Yeah. But it didn't matter. They had like a 50 cal sniper, and it still didn't do anything.
It didn't do anything.
So
if you guys don't, my gosh, you could probably just Google that. This guy, like in
it's
his
on
garage,
Netflix, yeah,
built a tank out of a tractor in secret, and then just rolled into town and started running things
to get back at the family that kind of ruled the town, sort of.
Dude, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, we could talk about this forever in terms of what defunding the police means. Go ahead.
Like
You were saying something.
Waco, that wasn't local police. That was the FBI that was brought
ATF,
in.
Yep.
You get those big hostage situations. It's no longer a local police department.
Right.
So why does American Fork PD need
armored
Kevlar
personnel
helmets
carrier?
and used Afghanistan war vehicles and M4s and rocket launch? But they do. They have all this exorbitant, crazy military stuff.
Yeah, militarizing the police is a hot issue.
It just seems to me, now I don't know, hopefully I'm not trying to offend anybody, but it just seems to me that these are guys that are, that sounds ruthless, playing soldier.
Well, no, and
Look,
we should
it,
be
man.
very clear, you and I, because
Yeah.
we're on the same page. We're not saying all police officers, ever.
No, of course not.
I'll get into that later, about all police officers.
I'm just saying, I used to play airsoft, and it was kind of milsim airsoft, and I get it. I get that it's fun to dress
Yeah.
up. I've got some pretty crazy pictures of me,
Yeah.
But I just don't know, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's someone that can give me data that says that all that equipment is necessary, but...
Well, so I would say I am pro police having Kevlar vests.
No, that's...
I'm fine with that. They do get shot at. They do get shot.
Well, the SWAT teams don't just have Kevlar. They have the Kevlar with the plates,
Right.
which, fine. That's fine.
I've actually been a proponent of like bulletproof glass in cruisers.
Yeah, why isn't that a thing?
I don't know, because it seems like a lot of the videos I've seen, they're shooting through the windshield at the police officer. You know what I mean?
Well, I've seen the police officers shoot
That's
through the
true.
windshield.
Maybe that's why they don't. Man, I'm sure it's a cost thing. But yeah, militarizing the police. So if we go, a lot of combat veterans have a hard time coming back.
Right.
They can't find that high, that adrenaline of kicking indoors.
And you specifically combat veterans.
Right.
There's a lot of people who, even when they get deployed, don't see a ton of combat, or they don't see the extent. You don't see your friend die combat.
Right. It's the vast minority.
The people
right.
with PTSD, I don't know that they become cops that often. But
That's true. It'd be
I don't
interesting to
know.
see the stats. But I two things. I think we don't set up our soldiers for success who do like 6 years.
Right.
Right? We don't tell them at the age of 18, when you're 24 and you leave, you have a lot of options and we can help you.
Right.
So maybe that's a problem. I'm not saying that military becoming police are the problem, though. We shouldn't get hung up on that.
No, I don't think so either. I think that, but I guess my point is that shouldn't be an automatic qualifier. Just because someone has experience in the military shouldn't mean that they qualify to be a police officer because they have training with a rifle.
If anything, it should be the opposite. You were combat, we probably need to do a psych eval. Right? And make sure that you're okay, and that you're not jumpy. When we talk about the adrenaline, we watched the video of the shooting a year ago, I think, of the woman who was shot in her bedroom through her window in her backyard. You remember that one?
Uh-huh.
And the cops were clearly on a high.
Right.
The way they were, if people don't remember, this woman was alone in her bedroom. Her neighbor called the police for a welfare check because her door was left open.
Right.
The police got there, did not announce themselves, didn't knock, just started skulking into the backyard with flashlights and guns. Mm-hmm. The woman heard them, saw the flashlights, got her gun, and went to look out the window, and they shot and killed her. Mm-hmm. But if you watch the video, you can tell that these guys are getting amped.
Right.
They can. It feels like the circle is enclosing in Battle Royale, and they got to get behind that rock, right?
Right.
I remember watching that one, and it's definitely not every shooting. But that one in particular, I thought, why are these guys so amped? This was a welfare check. This was not a burglary in progress, robbery in progress. I hear screams. There was nothing. It was a neighbor saying, she doesn't normally leave her door open. That's kind of weird. Do you mind checking? Right? Mm-hmm. And they didn't knock. They didn't say police department, sheriff's department, anything. And so when you talk about that, I think it's absolutely true that some people join the police force for that feeling.
Right.
On the topic of policing and on the topic of does Black Lives Matter do anything? This is big.
Oh.
Salt Lake County Mayor Aaron Mendenhall signed an executive order on Monday.
How many has she had?
I don't know. Requiring several changes to the Salt Lake City Police Department policies. This article has it highlighted here. It's in the Tribune. It prohibits deadly force if officers are trying to prevent someone from self-harm if that person does not pose an immediate threat to officers. Okay, that's one. The order,
I've read all these, and they all have the caveat of
sure, but it's we've talked about this. The language has to be kind of specific. This one, I like this one. The order requires officers to get written consent to search vehicles and property without a warrant, or verbal consent if the officers record it with a body cam. On top of that, I don't know if it's in here, she also made it punishable if an officer turns off their body cam or does not activate it.
right.
They can be punished for that, which is a huge problem we've heard, right? Lex Scott posted a video when this happened, and she was bawling. I think I shared it.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That Mayor Mendenhall would do this.
She cried too long for me to watch.
She was very, very emotional because it's kind of big news. You're right. It's still vague and there's still caveats, but it's a step. Right. And so people who think that Black Lives Matter is not doing anything, you need to look into what Aaron Mendenhall did. Oh, de-escalation. They're required to de-escalate rather than escalate, which we see a lot.
Right.
So anyway, that's my point about Black Lives Matter and what they're doing. They are actually doing something in Utah for all the people who don't think they do anything.
I just sent you a couple pictures.
Okay. I do want to talk about a shooting in Salt Lake.
Another one?
Yeah.
When did this happen?
This one happened in July. I know you don't like to watch them, and I don't want to play it on video, but you can go watch it if you want. It's a man who is holding a hostage in front of him with a knife.
Ooh.
In front of the Smiths, actually, downtown, I believe, on what is that, 5th East?
The Stabby Smiths?
The Stabby Smiths,
The
yes.
one where the guy went out and started stabbing people?
I think so.
Oh.
So two police officers approached the man, male and female cops, and they're warning him, it's not worth it, drop the knife, please drop the knife, it's not worth it, all this, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the cops is able to kind of flank him, so he's on the side, so he's viewing the victim and the perpetrator from the side, while the female cop is in front still.
Mm-hmm.
He then fires after several warnings, and hits the guy in the leg, and then he fires again.
It is the Stabby Smiths.
He fires again. I think he fires 3 times before the man lets go of the hostage.
What is he? What is he akimboing? What does he have 2 guns?
The cop? No, he had a taser out to begin with.
I thought he was like freaking.
Yeah. He had a taser and he said, "I will tase you." And then when he saw that the threat to the hostage was more serious, he pulled out a gun. My point here is, I think that this is justified, the initial shooting, but it's just like Bernardo. Okay, I don't know if you're watching it right now.
I am.
They shoot him 3 times or fire 3 shots, and the hostage is able to break free.
Right.
He's then just standing on the sidewalk, and they shoot 9 more times.
Oh.
So it kind of made me sick to my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
He's clearly mentally ill. I understand that's not their job to decide that right then. But I didn't quite understand the 9 shots after he was, after he let go of the hostage. Like, the hostage was free, and he had a knife, and they continued to shoot him. I don't know if you're watching it right now.
Yeah, it doesn't show.
Oh, you have to watch the raw. So the news channels show the video up to the shots being fired, right? And then it pauses. Oh. You watch the raw video on YouTube, you can see that they keep shooting him after the hostage is let go. That's the problem with the videos that pause, is you don't see everything else, right?
Right.
They obviously just start unloading on this guy once the hostage is out of the way. Because the first cop took a risk in firing. He could have hit the hostage, right? But he felt that he could adequately stop the threat by firing, and good on him if he didn't hit the hostage. I actually don't know. You watching it right now?
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I don't want to interrupt you.
when did he shoot him? Like,
It's like a minute in.
I know, but why he was still holding the hostage?
Yes.
Oh, geez,
Turn the
that's
volume up so
freaking
people can
risky.
hear it. Yeah, it's very risky.
Hey. So look, this is.
Oh.
What are you thinking there? It's hard to watch.
Well, no, they normally that was quite graphic.
Yeah. No, it's a very graphic. It's not edited at all.
I think I understand why they did that. The hostage was no longer being held, but she was still right there.
Right.
And he very well could have attempted to hurt her more.
Right.
I mean, she's right there.
She's right there.
You made it sound like she had booked
no.
it down the street, but she's right next to him still.
So if you don't, I don't want people to go watch it. He basically has her in a standing headlock, kind of what you would assume someone has them in with a knife hostage situation. He's standing behind the victim with a knife, kind of his one arm is holding her and the knife just kind of out waving around.
Right.
The cop shoots 3 times. It is very risky, but he, like I said,
I'm really surprised he shot with them holding him like that.
yeah. And I don't know if it's a woman or not. They blur the victim's face. They don't blur his face, the guy who was holding the knife, but they blur the hostage's face. Anyway, just another shooting to talk about. It's a white man.
Oh, thank goodness.
For real. Although I will say that Black Lives Matter has been protesting in Cottonwood Heights for a white victim.
Yeah, I heard about
that. 2 years ago, this victim was shot. So this one, though, I watched it a few times and I thought, well, once again,
I think
it's a 50-50 in my opinion.
I think I get it. I mean, like, she is right there still.
Yeah.
If he's still...
It seems like, because it's the female cop who ends up shooting the most while he's standing there.
Uh-huh.
It just feels like... It feels like she just kind of went for it, which we've seen a lot when one cop shoots.
I think you're supposed to. I think that's kind of what you're trained to do.
Which, if it is, I think we should reevaluate that, re-examine that,
Yeah, maybe.
This guy had a record, but he was also like just recently released from mental health care, I believe. Just underscores another point in society. But I don't know. That one was... We'll talk about those when they come
Real
up. Real
quick, before we go on break, I kind of forgot to do this when we were talking about George Floyd. Now there's two different coroners. There's the state one. Yeah, those are pictures of me playing airsoft back.
Oh, I was like, who is this?
Probably 10 years ago.
Let me get this over.
Yeah, it would be like 10 years ago.
That's you.
Yeah.
Holding a weapon that would get you shot now. It's an airsoft.
I told you, my airsoft gun looked like it's straight out of Iraq.
Yeah.
I still have it somewhere. I need to get it fixed, though.
Yeah, you could join that Citizens Alarm group for sure.
I found that helmet. Where did I find it? I don't remember, but I had so many people ask to buy it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's because I bought this. You can buy that's right. It's an airsoft helmet, so it's not like super heavy.
Right.
But heavy enough. And the reason people wanted it is because I had that clip on the front there, which is supposed to have night vision goggles.
Oh.
But it was just for that look because most deployed soldiers have that.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Oh man, that's so cool! I want to buy it." And I never sold it. I still have it all somewhere.
Yeah, I remember when you were way into that, man.
It was fun. I would do it again if if I wasn't so hefty.
You just got to snipe, man. Just get a ghillie suit and just.
That's what I did then anyway. And I wish you could see the patch on the side because I hung out with when we played games. I hung out with like 4 other guys that were all heavier.
Yeah.
And we just kind of sat in the back of the battle, just out of range, and just lobbed BBs in there.
Oh,
and,
this patch.
And we were like, people asked us why, and we're like, well, we're fat company. And so my friend Danny, the one who's the prop guy, he drew out a whale with a freaking gigantic machine gun. and we made it into
Got
a patch.
That's freaking rad.
And I know I have a picture of it somewhere. I'll see if I can dig
We
it
got
out.
to make that
but
into a T-shirt now.
I know. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Too fat to fight. Take the hill. No. Anyway, George Floyd, with all these coroners, two of them, they're kind of saying the same thing, but not.
Wait, you say coroners? Like medical examiners?
Yes.
Okay.
There's two. The family hired one to do one.
And then there's the
And
county.
then there's the county or state or whatever that did one. And the state one, they essentially say he died of the same thing, but the state one doesn't make it seem as though it was by asphyxiation. It was more of heart failure.
Okay.
So with all this in mind, like with him being on fentanyl, being on meth, having a heart disease, I think they said. I better make sure on that. Do you think that the defense will be able to get these guys off of a murder charge?
well,
Because to me, it seems like they could pretty.
So Chauvin got murder too?
I think so.
Let's look. Derek Chauvin, murder charge. We also have to look at the state, Minnesota's, how they define it. He faces 3 separate charges: unintentional second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree. Okay, yeah, they're going to get him on one of those for sure. This is when you give a jury ranked voting. Is what you're doing here. Let's see here. Let's look up the worst one: unintentional second-degree murder, Minnesota. I'm not spelling this right, I know. Let's just see what it says. The maximum sentence for second-degree murder, blah, 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 blah. Oh, dude, we have to talk about the protesters in Salt Lake and the charges they got too, by the way.
Oh, yeah, those are intense.
Yeah.
Are we doing that now, or should we take a break?
We can do it now, but let me talk about Chauvin here. The statute for unintentional second-degree murder lists 2 ways that this offense can be committed: unintentional killing while committing or trying to commit certain felonies, and certain acts in violation of an order for protection. Okay, so they're saying that if you kill someone while in the act of committing a crime, so a really easy definition of this would be like if you're robbing a store and you shoot, the clerk or something.
Right.
Like, I think you'd probably get charged with first degree, but that's a good definition, right?
Right.
Yeah. Drug dealers might get charged with this. If someone dies from an overdose, you could certainly use this statute, I think. We need Jake on. Third-degree murder. This offense carries blah, blah, blah. Federal murder, no. Okay, so that's the maximum one that he's been charged with, right? Second-degree unintentional murder, I think is what it said.
Shouldn't that be like...
Or no, second-degree murder.
Oh.
Second-degree murder. So we need to look up. Why did I type in that? Oh, no, it was unintentional. So anyway, that's where we are. That's the worst charge that he got. Did you send me another picture of yourself?
I did. It's a closer picture of that patch.
Okay. Long story short there, yeah, I think that they have enough to get one of those charges on Derek. I don't know what the defense could argue here, man. The man was cuffed.
Yeah.
So he wasn't a threat.
Right.
He wasn't an immediate threat. I don't think so.
Well, rest assured that if they do manage to get them off, there will be... Oh, man.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrifying.
There you go. That's your patch.
Yep. Fat. I think we made it stand for Forward Assault Tactical
Team.
Yeah, something like that. I
like
can't
it.
remember. Anyway, you know what? We better take a break.
No, we got to talk about these felonies.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
So when Sim Gill, the district attorney for Salt Lake, announced that the officers were justified in the Bernardo killing, there were protests that turned into vandalism. People threw red paint on his office and covered it with like pictures of Bernardo and other things, so obviously to look like blood. We did a show that day, and they had already cleaned it off, like
really,
with pressure washers and stuff. So these guys were caught. A few of them were caught, and they received vandalism charges. And just 2 or 3 days ago, the district attorney's office announced that because there were 2 or more of them, they can aggravate the charge to be gang-related. Oh. And they can face up to life in prison.
Yeah, I saw that seems a bit excessive.
For throwing paint on the DA's office.
Well, and the minimum, it wasn't the life that was, I mean, that's shocking, but...
The minimum was like 15 years, wasn't it?
It was 5.
5.
But still...
5 years for throwing paint.
It all seems a bit excessive.
Absolutely. It does. 5 years for throwing paint on the DA's office as a form of protest. And then you get a felony because they're saying it can be called a gang.
Right.
You can be called a gang. We could be a gang. If we went and threw paint on someone's house, they could up the charge and say we were a gang.
That means there's gangs all over the place.
All over the place.
There's people
Because who does stuff alone?
Painting houses. They just go and, they without being paid, they go and do it, and then they get paid after. But still.
Right. Nevertheless.
Oh, man.
Fucking gang. Wow. Tell you what.
Anyway. I mean, that means I was in a gang as a kid, driving around, putting in laundry detergent in water fountains.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, we did that once.
Yeah,
to the rich people neighborhood. I feel like it got some attention. Like, people were not happy about it. But anyway.
I understand that windows were broken at the DA's office as well, but frankly, I think red paint is a great protest. Personally, I think it's a great... Now, Black Lives Matter didn't do that. Everybody should be aware. Lex Scott, in no way, shape, or form, is okay with any type of vandalism or violence.
Right.
She makes that very clear to all protesters who are involved with Black Lives Matter, and she'll kick you the hell out of there if you do.
And she'll kick you in the balls, which is just weird, but I mean, it's necessary. So
she actually hates it. She hates it a lot because then the headline always reads, "Violence erupts at Black Lives Matter protest."
Right.
Even if it's a white supremacist who, like what happened in Cottonwood Heights the other night.
Right.
They were leaving. She told everybody to leave, and a white supremacist maced a guy in the face who was there with Black Lives Matter, and the headline read,
"Look,
violence breaks out at a Black Lives Matter protest."
I said it once, I'll say it again. It works fine in North Korea. Okay? And if it works there, then it's bound to work here.
Right. They're a test, basically. So, anyway, let's take our break.
All right. When we come back from our break, where is the music? It just sounds so hollow without the music bed there. Okay. When we come back, we have random headlines. Got some good ones for you. Chevy trucks, Diplocats, and some breaking news. We also have the wheel of things Spencer thinks about, and I'm going to try and catch Bryan again in an all-sides news war.
Left, right, center.
Although I think I'm going to leave out center and just do left and right.
I like that.
The center is it's normally just one sentence.
Yeah.
Donald Trump walked off a bridge or plane or
boring.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like when he was walking down. Did you see
down
all
the plank?
Yeah, all the coverage about that?
Yeah.
Oh, you've got to see the show Tuning Out the News. Anyway, when we come back.
Looked like a 77-year-old man is what he looked like.
Yeah. All that and more and other stuff.
Dad looks so happy. Actually, I think your father's still upset about the way things went down.
Bart, Maggie, Santa's little helper. Lisa?
Dad, I don't want things to be awful between us. I made you some cookies.
I don't think cookies are going to make me feel better. Oh, God. Oh, they're delicious. Oh, I'm so happy. Oh, God, they're gone.
Oh.
This is the Our Take Podcast. We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you these random headlines.
We're back.
We are.
Hey, find us at the Arctic Pod on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can watch this episode and listen to others at thearcticpodcast.com.
You can see all my unruly movements, and I can't sit still.
Pit stains.
Yeah. That's why I wear black. Yeah, so random headlines. Got some good ones for you today, or at least mediocre. A Minnesota man sells his 57 Chevy truck for the same price he paid for it 44 years ago.
That sucks.
Yeah. Well, you know,
It's like
Chevy
a nice
trucks.
bell curve that just-
Chevy trucks are known for keeping their value. And back in 1957, when this man bought it for $75,
Oh my gosh.
who would have thought that after 44 years it would retain that $75 value?
Hang on a sec. I want to look something up.
Are you going to look up the...
I just want to let everybody know how cheap shit was back then. Okay? $75 in 1957 is worth $688 today. So why the fuck isn't a Chevy truck $688?
Well, I'm imagining that he bought it used, and you know, there's a lot more equipment that goes into trucks and cars
The
nowadays.
truck is $60,000 now.
That is true. Trucks are outlandishly.
This
You
is
can-
the
you
point
can
that
find-
people make to boomers all the time about home ownership.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when you bought your house, it was $10,000.
Well, now it's only a mere $400,000. You
Oh,
should be able
man.
to make that in your lifetime.
Yeah.
I guess he's been driving it.
Does it say what year he bought it? No, it has
Yeah,
to be.
it said.
I thought it was like implied he bought it new.
I don't. Well, 1957. That's way. No, it's it's a 57 pickup truck that he drove for 44 years. So that math doesn't add up.
What's
so
2020?
obviously it was like 30 years used or something when he got it.
He said it 44 years. So he bought it in 76.
Yeah.
All right.
So
fine.
it was
Fine.
old.
Let's do
It
that.
was old.
1976 today. $75 in 1976. How is that right? It's worth $339 today. That was because the economy tanked in the 70s. So it's actually worth less. So you should be able to buy a 20-year-old truck.
You know, it's like what I've always said,
For $340.
invest in cars.
Right.
You will at least break even every time, as far as I know. I mean, I haven't done it, but I've always heard that trucks and cars are great investments. It looks like Mater. It's all beat up. Anyway.
I would imagine.
News from the UK. Oh, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Now
Live from BBC, it's news BBC Top Line.
I'm really disappointed in the title of this headline because it says Parliament UK's top diplomatic cat and chief mouser retires. Now, why in the hell did they not say the UK's top diplocat?
Right. Come on.
I mean,
It's a no-brainer.
right?
Yeah. When was this dated?
Yesterday.
Man, I feel like we've talked about this exact wording before.
Really?
Mouser and cat.
Huh.
But Diplicat is like...
You know what? It's probably the timeline just shifted.
Yep.
Deja vu.
Freaking
so
simulation,
somebody
man.
did something.
Glitch in the Matrix.
So this cat has only been on the job since 2016. It's not like he's been there for a long time. But 4 years was enough. And I guess he signed his resignation letter with his paws. And he said, "F you guys. I'm leaving." And, it made big headlines there. The Queen stopped. No, I'm just kidding. He works, this cat worked in, it's in a weird office.
It's got to be a lot of mice, obviously.
Yeah, it's, the UK Foreign Office.
Right.
It must be like the worst office. Because they've got to have cats,
right?
Diplocats.
You got to be kidding me!
He actually he got promoted to ambassador of China, so hopefully he makes it out of that one alive.
Did you see?
And not inside a bowl of rice
of coronavirus. Did you see? The intelligence report today from I don't know, some chief. Some chief somewhere.
Chief of intelligence.
Saying China, Iran, and Russia are actively trying to influence the election. China wants Trump to lose.
Right.
Russia wants Trump to win.
Right.
And Iran kind of just wants to mess things up, but ultimately wants Trump to lose.
Yeah, they should. He's
Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting. So
well,
you just can't believe anything.
Let's see who has the better hackers.
Right.
I mean, I've always known Asians to be pretty good at
It's
tech.
actually more about who has the better memes, because that's what's.
Oh,
right?
you know, you can always tell when something has been written by a Chinese person, but it's
It's
not their main language. It's not their first language.
It's missing that one word.
Like, just go look at an eBay description, and you'll just be like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna find one.
Or the instructions that come with something from Wish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our last top story, and it's actually, I just want to warn you that this is.
I love these. Swine news.
Breaking pig news out of Germany. It's pretty huge.
The pig? Or the news?
The news.
Oh, okay.
Well, we all know that pigs are taking over.
Right.
But now, it would seem that they're trying to steal our technology.
Do they have thumbs now?
No. A German nudist had the last laugh after giving chase to a wild boar that ran off with a bag containing his laptop. Pictures posted on social media show the naked man running after a sow and her two piglets. One of them was ambiguous and kind of androgynous, just like Piglet from Winnie the Pooh.
Oh my gosh. Hang on, I gotta put that up. That's terrible.
It's exactly what you expect from a nudist.
Look at this guy right here. Look at his face.
What is happening? I know.
Oh, man. That's awesome.
So whoever took these pictures, I guess, got permission to post them. She didn't just post them. I'm sure she probably could have. And
cameras allowed in the nudist.
Oh, man. See, this is why you don't go to nude, because there's nothing there you want to see.
Look, it has this button sometimes, and you're like, do I want to expand this picture? Oh, man.
Oh, man. So, he got the computer back, but this just shows that, oh, my gosh, that is a terrible picture. That is.
Oh, that's awesome. They got a picture from behind.
Yeah.
So just cracking all.
I gotta
chasing
say
these
that
three pigs.
wild boar has a way better butt.
Yeah.
Than that guy's.
Yeah.
Men's butts are gross. Men do not have. Look at that.
Yeah,
it's just.
Yeah,
I
can't
know.
look at it anymore.
Anyway.
Scrolling up.
Anyway, so pigs are not only invading and killing us, they are also trying to steal our technology. Unfortunately for the pig, that was a 1997 laptop with Windows 95 on it.
Yeah.
So
it was a compact.
Yeah. So they're not going to learn a lot from it. But anyway, moving on from random headlines. I'm on eBay. I'm trying to find. Let's see. What's something I should look up? That's. How about NFL jersey? Let's see if we can find something knocked off here. $8.99. So that's pretty cheap.
I bet you. You know what? I bet you somebody's made. Let's see. Best eBay descriptions.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Let's see. 3 examples of winning eBay descriptions.
This one might be an American.
Yeah, someone's actually selling stuff. Oh, man. No, I don't want... It's like finding me legit, like, here's how you write the best eBay descriptions.
Come on. That's not what we want. Be reasonable.
Come on, you know what I'm trying.
Oh.
Here we go. Oh, it's a stupid slideshow one. I hate these.
I was looking at one of those for possibly a random headline today, and I gave up and Googled it and read what happened in like 2 seconds instead of doing the stupid.
Right.
Oh, I was so angry.
That's well, I think people know what we're trying to.
Yeah, I guess I'll just have to look one. I know I got one when I was buying my lights, my DMX lights from China, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the condition. Packaging should be the same as what is found in a retail store unless the item is handmade or was packaged by that. All right, whatever. We'll find one. We will find
It'll
one.
be a new segment.
But in the meantime, let's move on to...
I got to get ready.
Do I have music for this yet?
I don't think so.
Oh.
left or right, we're going to call it.
Oh, you know, I got to tell you that when I added our new song, I messed with my soundboard.
Yeah.
And I added a lot of new
cuts,
some new sounds. You know, there's still the classics.
This storm will kill you. It will kill your children. It will kill your pets. And everyone
but I put
knows.
these on here. Those weren't on there before, you know. And I got Jeopardy, just in case we need that.
Have a seat.
Oh, this is my new favorite one from the last season of Family Guy.
Look, listen, look.
I thought I had another one. I don't know. Yeah, I have this. I think I've had that one before. Oh, I added 2 doomed ones.
Tonight at 11.
Futurama.
Our universe is doomed.
Also Futurama. Just wanted our overall theme of the podcast to be doom.
Sure. Gloom.
All right. Moving on here. Right or left from allsidesnews.com, a great resource. Will tell you...
Was it allsides.com?
Allsides.com. It
Yep.
tells you 3 different stories.
The same story, 3 different ways.
Yes.
Right.
And, you know, you get extra points if you manage to guess
right.
Which one is which.
So you're not going to give me the center, though, this time. Just left or right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could give you the center and then give you another one. Yeah.
No. Just give me left or right.
All right. Trump vows coverage for pre-existing conditions as he fights to kill it in court.
It's got to be left. Yes.
Bonus points if you can name the source.
HuffPost. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, the right would never put in their vows to kill it. They would just leave it at Trump wants to leave pre-existing conditions or something.
Funny you should say that because the right is Trump vows to force insurers to cover pre-existing conditions.
Shut up.
Yeah. And that's from the New York Post.
They just left that one. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I'm proud.
Yeah, you should be.
That
I
was a good
mean,
one.
I did not expect you to pull Huffington Post out. That was impressive. Help Lebanon remove Hezbollah's stranglehold and its dangerous missile.
The right. The right hates Hezbollah.
That is true. But the left is almost as cryptic. Don't blame fate for Beirut's cruel tragedy. From
that's
CNN.
Super cryptic.
Isn't it?
Don't blame fate?
Yeah.
No, you can't. Come on, that's a poor headline.
I know. And the other one was National Review, which I'm not super familiar with. Are you?
Just a little bit. I know they're center, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No, that was the
that's the right.
right.
Oh, National Review. I don't know. Like I said, I only follow AP, but yeah, what does that one mean? But the CNN.
I don't know, man.
at least the right is placing blame somewhere. So they're saying that Hezbollah has a secret missile?
I don't know.
Hezbollah missile. Missiles and rockets of Hezbollah.
Do they have a website where you can buy them?
A
Hezbollah rocket?
Yeah. Missilethreat.org. Oh, man. Lebanon, man, they've had a shit hand. Beirut's always been like...
It's true.
Just
I like how Israel was like right away, like, oh, no, it wasn't us. All right.
I was...
Like right after it happened, they were like, no,
yeah.
don't. I wish I could do a good Jewish voice. Don't look at us.
It wasn't us. It was an accident.
Yeah.
I was totally expecting ISIS to take credit. They always do that.
All right, one more. Portland mayor condemns rioters for attempting to commit murder.
Say that again. Portland mayor
condemns rioters for attempting to commit murder.
Portland mayor, man, because the right doesn't like that mayor. I want to say right.
Wow.
All right.
You just made up for all those losses the past week. I didn't even get to use. That was from the Washington Examiner. Actually, it's from both the Washington Examiner and Breitbart. Because there actually was no left story for this. At least they don't have one.
Right.
The center was Portland protesters cause mayhem again. Police officer hurt, and that's from AP. See how theirs are so cut to the point? They're just like,
yeah, there's nothing else.
There were protests, and a police officer got hurt.
Nothing else interjected in those. Yeah.
It's nice. Okay, moving on once again. I've got some fun. I want to know if you recognize this music.
Oh. What is it?
Well, if you're a Wheel watcher, you'll be happy to know that this is the Wheel of Fortune theme, at least from the 90s.
Yeah.
I think it has...
They've spiced it up.
Yeah.
They put a little
I think it has like a guitar in it and stuff now. I had to search for this one. Because I kept hearing these themes like, that's not Wheel of Fortune.
Right.
I need that piano or whatever the hell it is in the background. Yeah.
So let's see. Last week we talked colors.
Did you get rid of that one?
We should right here. I think I just uncheck it. Bam.
Oh,
Okay.
it's gone.
You ready?
I am.
Let's spin it.
I'm scared.
Come on, Gene Roddenberry.
What is it?
Sizable aliens.
Oh, man. I've gotten the two ones that I just threw on there for poops and giggles. This one's not even that fun. You know what?
You want me to spin again?
Well,
no, you can just go with it.
Well,
we can spin again after you
we
tell
can
me.
do two. All right.
Yeah.
So this one, I just one night was thinking, what if we find, because they find these super Earths, right?
Right.
That are like 10 times bigger than Earth, but still potentially habitable.
Still in the Goldilocks zone.
Right.
Right.
And so I'm like, well, the Earth is bigger. Maybe the people are bigger too. So what if the aliens are like, 15 feet tall?
Yeah, but they look like us.
I mean, that throws out alien sex for sure. And
they look like us. Maybe that's where all those Nephilim skeletons come from.
Oh, crap.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They were the aliens.
Maybe.
They didn't have enough food, so they died.
They died
Their
out
skeleton was
after
here.
they built the pyramids?
Yeah, they built the pyramid to house the food. Maybe.
To house the food? It was actually just like a cup to them. You turn it over, and there's you eat cereal out of the bottom of the pyramid.
They just left them there.
Yeah.
It was two guys. They were just waiting for the ship, and the ship took off.
Right.
That's
right.
why, they died here.
Let me just say that I've been watching, UFO shows, ones that I try to find more legit than the guy who's like got his hair all frizzed out and like, they're coming, man.
History Channel guy?
Yeah. That aren't like the guy from, what's his bucket from Independence Day?
Yeah.
What's his name's brother?
Oh man, what's the freak is?
He was in Vacation.
Yeah.
Christmas Vacation. Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Anyway, and I'm sold on aliens. They exist. They're visiting us. It's just a matter of time when they decide to.
I can't remember who I heard it somewhere, but someone was saying along those lines, like, wouldn't it be the scariest thing ever if aliens came here and they looked just like us?
Well, see, that's,
and we couldn't separate them.
Right. See, that's an interesting theory, right? I mean, so if you believe in evolution, which you should,
it's not a belief. It's just it is.
Yeah, I just watched a Simpsons episode where Flanders made the creation be taught in school instead of anyway. That's why. Anyhow, then you would assume that aliens would look well, I guess it just depends what they manage to evolve from.
Right.
And our mammalian species seems to be the ideal choice for this range of evolution. Now,
and space travel.
well,
For
yeah.
now.
So I was reading about parrots one day.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I know. I think we actually talked about this on an episode where parrots are the humans of the bird world.
Yes, I remember this.
Like humans are the humans of the the ape world.
Humans are the silverback of the ape world.
That got me thinking, well, what if they continued to evolve, or what if because dinosaurs are related to birds,
right?
And if dinosaurs were intelligent, what if they had managed to continue? And one thing I read said that the reason birds haven't evolved more is because they don't have to. They have wings,
right?
And it allows them to fly, and they're not.
They're an apex already.
Yeah, basically. Right. I mean, they get eaten by each other and that sort of thing, but
they get unlucky on the ground.
They can pretty much survive anywhere because they can just fly wherever, right? And the same can be said for lizards and alligators and any apex predator. There was no reason for them to continue to evolve, whereas us, we're right there in the middle. We're
very frail,
right?
We can't escape.
But with tools, we become apex, top of the food chain. So if that were to follow, and another thing that's interesting about our evolution, when you look at every species, sans some fish and animals, they all are relatively similar. They all have the eyes and the nose in the same sort of place. Typically, the ears are somewhere around there.
I've always thought it was weird when animals made eye contact.
Yeah.
Like, how do they know? How do they know that they're looking at my eyes, right? You'd think like a dog would look at your hands.
Right, because that's where the food is?
Yeah, show me your hands.
Right? Maybe animals are just way smarter than we think.
I think so.
I don't know. So, if our planet is the basis for what evolution looks like, then I think that them looking like us isn't too far off. Or I don't know.
Well, there's probably just a planet full of birds.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Or dinosaurs.
Straight bird.
There's
dinosaurs.
an interesting Star Trek Voyager about
they
that.
found dinosaurs?
Well, so they get to this planet, right? And it's a species called the Voth, and they're reptilian, okay? And for some reason, they get a hold of their DNA, and it matches with humans. And now this is the Delta Quadrant, mind you. Do you know what happened to Voyager? They got lost in the Delta Quadrant.
No, I didn't know.
Which is on the other side of the
Spoiler
galaxy.
alert.
Wow. Okay. Anyway, so this is. It turns out that this species evolved from dinosaurs that managed to escape Earth billions of years ago.
Like on a ship?
I guess.
Interesting.
And
they speak. They speak?
Yeah, they're actually more technologically superior than the humans.
But they have dinosaur bodies, like reptile bodies.
No, they just look like if a dinosaur evolved.
Like they have like a patch of scales
right.
or something? Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's also another Star Trek theory that that's how they cover the basis of everyone looking human, is there's someone called the Preserver or something that planted seeds all throughout the galaxy.
I didn't know they did that. They went to a god theory.
They're not gods. They're just
the giver.
They're technologically superior to.
And they plant. So it's a simulation. It's a sim town.
Well, no. Anyway,
all right. Let's spin this wheel.
That went further than I expected.
That's good. That's good. Sizable aliens. I like it. Removed from the board. Here we go. Spinning.
I hope it's not Prove It.
Oxygen kills. Oh, sorry, I didn't. Oxygen kills everybody.
This one's okay.
Do you like any of them?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
It's just like hitting all the ones that I'm kind of like.
Right.
All right. What if? All right. I'm laying in bed one night thinking, what if oxygen is actually poisoning
us
slowly, and otherwise we would live forever.
It's a lot like food.
Right?
It's a lot like food. We need it, but it poisons us.
That's true.
I mean,
That's
not
why,
all food.
That's
but
why
the food we
dieting.
like.
That's why dieting is incredibly difficult because you have to eat.
Right.
You can't not eat.
Right.
Which is unfortunate.
You can't not breathe.
Right.
In fact, it's the one thing that if we don't have will kill you the fastest.
That's true.
That's kind of interesting.
That's true.
I mean, there's really only so many.
Yeah.
Air, water.
I mean, but it
food.
makes sense because oxygen, it causes things to rust, and it causes
antioxidants.
We should have pomegranate juice constantly.
Constantly.
We
bathe in it.
Replace our blood with pomegranate juice.
Palm Wonderful. Brought to you by Palm Wonderful. That'd be interesting. I mean, remember the people like that live in the mountains in Japan that always live to be like 120, 130 years old?
Yeah.
The oxygen, there's less. It's thinner.
Oh.
I don't know if the saturation is less.
Do you know, Japanese and Asian people in general they just age.
Oxidizing,
they just age
right?
better.
What ruins copper?
The planet that they come from. Sorry, you would have had to have been here a couple episodes ago when I pulled out my theory for we're all aliens from another planet.
Nothing explains language, right? You know, I've said this so many times. Accents fascinate me. I'm fascinated by accents.
Yeah, I agree. And one thing that does keep me up at night that drives me physically, it drives me insane, is that there's no way that I can hear what an American accent sounds like. I don't know.
To someone who's not American?
Right.
Right. Well, and it's funny because, we're all Americans are so conceited that we're like, you guys have the accent, right?
That's true, right? But
someone comes here, they're like, yeah, I have a British accent.
Isn't that historically accurate, though?
What? What do you mean?
I have read
there's
reputable places that
the American accent?
That the American accent was the accent that was brought over from England. And then after the Revolutionary War, they kind of switched it up.
I found a town. I don't know how I came across it. Town that has colonial accents. It's like on an island off Virginia.
Of course.
Tangier Island. Pull it up on YouTube so people can hear it. You got to hear these guys talk. Tangier Island accent. They say that this is what the what are they called? Colonials?
Yeah.
Colonists? This is what they sounded like.
Before... Oh, there it is. Tangier.
Tangier.
Oh, I see that. All right, come on, Wheel of Fortune.
It's
We're
an
done.
island that
We're
is
done with
very,
you.
very limited population, and they for some reason, like a lot of places, the people don't really leave.
Oh, right.
Which is like a lot of places.
Right. Let's see here.
3 months of Disney Plus.
Oh, weird. This sounds sounds like a Disney
sound just like
commercial.
George Washington.
I had a bunch of knee
Oh,
surgery.
come on!
Come on,
No.
for the love.
No,
Get
let
outta
me
here.
skip this.
Just skip this.
Shut up,
man.
CDC.
I don't want to pay
All right, there we go.
$15 a month.
I know. It's so annoying. You know what's really annoying is that ad just keeps. It never stops. Oh my gosh. I think I just stumbled on. Oh, I did. This is a documentary.
On Tangier, no one is ever too far away.
The community, spirit, the closeness, we're like...
This isn't.
Why is it in one ear? It's weird.
Oh, yeah. All right, I got to find something better. This is stupid.
And
are these polygamists?
These are loyalists.
It's hard to say how many varieties of English there are in the United States.
3.
It depends on how you want to cut the pie. A particular accent may be spoken by only a few hundred people. You can hear some of the most unusual varieties.
Oh my gosh!
Who hired this guy?
Along the East Coast. The speech heard in some of these places may sound
Okay, shut up.
outsiders.
Turn it up.
They keep drivers by my mouth. I had to get out home. Mom's been calling and cussing at me all day. She was behind the counter. She said, "It's a lie, Jack." I said, "Who's that, Mom?"
Weird, huh?
It sounds like American / Irish / Scottish
/ Southern, like
maybe even some Australia.
Yeah, it's very like our.
I did not understand a word he said.
No.
On this island, we can say that our parents were born here, and our grandparents, and our great-grandparents, our great.
Somehow, it just makes me think that.
What amazes me is that I can be most anywhere. I can be in the mall in Salisbury, Maryland.
Salisbury, Maryland.
And I can hear Tan German talking in the crowd. And I can
Crowd.
They're from home, you know.
Huh. Interesting.
For some reason, I hear that accent, and I think that Thomas Jefferson is now dumber. It's hard to think of. Anyway, yeah.
Huh.
Linguists, look it up, people. Tangier Island. Linguists think that that's what the colonists sounded like, when they, I guess, like, a generation or two in, right?
Right.
Freaking Tangier. Tiny little island. I can't remember where it is. I want to say Virginia or Maryland or something like that. Yeah.
Weird.
Crazy stuff.
Huh.
I don't know how we got an accent. Oh, just because I think they're weird.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think accents are weird.
Wait, what was the...
You said something keeps you up at night.
What was the topic?
Oh, American accents keep you up at night because you can never hear one.
Oh, I mean, what did we spin on the wheel?
We spun...
Oh, no, that's not right.
We spun... Oxygen Kills.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Let's go.
Okay, well, I think we're done for the day. Good show, everyone.
Good show. Everybody did a great job today.
All the producers, we like to thank the producers, the writers, the cinematographers.
Everyone at Scary Parrot Media.
All of them, John specifically, and Richard.
Yeah.
Richard Pound.
Dick Pound.
Dick Pound. I almost put that as my new intro at the beginning.
Dick Pound?
Yeah. I almost put this guy as a hero because he doesn't go by Richard or Rich or Rick. He goes by Dick Pound. That's
Ricky
from
Pound.
several episodes ago. Anyway.
Yes. Thanks for being here, everybody. Find us at The Arctic Pod on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Please go to thearcticpodcast.com to watch and listen to any episode. Well, not watch, but just the last few.
Or
anyway,
whatever.
For episode 93, I'm Brian.
I'm Spencer. See you next time.